Alright boys, and welcome back to another base building video. One of my favorite bases on the channel that did super well is called the Booget, and recently I loaded in the footprint and tried to see if I could do a little bit of a rework. As this base is almost 5 months old, so it makes sense for me to try and give it a little bit of an upgrade, and I think you boys are going to absolutely love what I've done with the footprint this time. Introducing the Bugat V2, an absolute upgrade to its predecessor in every single way, whether it comes to the shooting floor, the open core, the respawns, the defendability. This one outranks it in every single way. Let me go ahead and break down some of the features and the coolest parts of this base so you boys can decide if it's something you'd want to build. Alright, crazy cool feature number 1 of the base is the open core. Wow, look at this. That looks cool, that looks fun to live in, that looks defendable. There's loads of boxes, like that's what you need. Crazy cool feature number 2. Look at that shooting floor, man. I'd like to defend a raid from there. That would get the job done easy peasy. Look at those angles, man. That'll do very nice. Cool feature number 3. The start is massive. It's like an open wide core starter thing. It leads from one side of the base to another. You just run through. Big boy starter base. Easy to expand out of. Lovely. That's what we look for. Now you've seen all these cool features. Are you telling me you don't want to try and build this base? You do. Let's get on to the tour, then the base costs, then let's teach you guys how to build it. I know you want to build it. you want to build it. Build the fucking base. Alright, base tour, let's get going. We have got the standard mini Satori disconnectable off to the side here. There's 2 of these, and I've connected it to the compound in the standard method that I always use. Place the roof, disconnect, add it back, boom. We use disconnectables to allow us to replace the main TC inside the main base in case it got broken somehow. That's what that's for. And there's another one down there because there's 2 of them and 1 more TC in the main base. Alright, let's head into the gatehouse. Gatehouse can be swapped out with whatever you want. Right now we're doing a 3 triangle one. Windows to look in, windows to look out, and a turret on top to watch the compound. Super basic, super basic. And we can get a nice long look at all the angles you would have inside the compound. There's our turret underneath, hidden away. Looking good. And we can run through, there's plenty of space for deployables through here, and this is how I like to connect my external TC to the compound, with a little bit of a peak here. I use this in game all the time and it works really well. And then we can run around to the front of the base because it is symmetrical, so we can head into our airlock. But before we do that, I do have a sponsor for this video. And let's jump back into the tour. Alright, so we're inside the airlock. We've got windows to look outside, and a garage door that leads up our mobility chute, eventually taking us to a battery, and then from there, shooting floor. Up that ladder hatch is the shooting floor. But we won't go there just yet. Let's head back down and show you guys a little look at the starter base. So we've got a bit of a corridor here, space for deployables, you can spam through here, furnaces and stuff. Just expanding the door path before we reach our starter base. We'll head up that, jump up a little bit later on, but let's check out the starter first. So it's completely up to you if you want to have the starter be double-sided. You can obviously seal one side off at the back and just have the mobility chute. That was our TC with our main TC upkeep, but we'll break down the cost and all that later on. You can see the start is massive, plenty of space for boxes, deployables, all that good stuff, nice and easy to expand out of, and you can defend from this point because there are multiple doors in and out. As you can see, base is symmetrical. Let's head up to the open court. Got a cheeky bedroom here that comes equipped with an ankle biter that looks into the open core, plus a roof peak up leading into the next loot room above. That covers the blind spots from the other peak downs into open core. Couple of boxes underneath before we finally enter our beautiful open core. Shitloads of boxes, 4 turrets to defend, but you can spam some more if you need. Our workbenches and bags are out of the way just to make sure we have nice and lots of room to move around. And of course we have the siege peak turrets above that can only be broken with explosive ammo, or else the ramp will need to be destroyed. Nice and OP. Those turrets are not fun to deal with, I can tell you that. Extra loot rooms off to the side here that are a little bit safer, but they're still part of the open core. You can depot some stuff here too, and they're right next to your spawns and your tier 3, so a good spot for meds and stuff like that. And that's our open core. Little run back through to just remind you guys we do have another peak from here, so if you're getting top downed, this is your option to defend the open core. And we'll go ahead and jump up to shooting floor / defense floor for the open core. Got some storage here in the vending machines. That door leads to shooting floor and some more boxes to depot from above. Our turret that of course looks into open core. And a battery beside that for easy wiring. And that's our peek down into the open core. Of course we can see plenty from those angles. A bedroom off to the side that has an ankle biter to defend this floor in case it has been taken over. And we can jump back through. The base is completely symmetrical, so the same stuff onto the opposite side of the base. Of course symmetry is easy to learn, easy to build, and your teammates will get a grip of the base a lot quicker with that. Then we can head out to the Widegapped shooting floor. Got a couple of ramps in this section to allow us to peek down as well. Multitude of gaps and angles to peek people in the compound, and you can also look far away whilst in between your windows. And we're taking advantage of the siren light peek ups in order to keep our roof nice and small and not add to the cost any further than we need to. You can keep moving around a little bit more. Getting a couple of more angles out, and of course we've got windows to look at as well, but they're not that exciting. And then we can jump up. This is going to be our roof exit / a peek up. Lets us see the entirety of the roof and also behind the ramps from in the single doors. Cheeky head glitch onto the gatehouse, and that's our ladder hatch that we saw at the start of the video if you remember. And that's what we've got. I'll do another run around all the way to our final airlock that lets us exit out onto the roof, just so you can see the base is fully symmetrical. And out this door, and we're onto the roof. A couple of drop boxes at the top here, and 4 turrets guard the roof nicely. Fully symmetrical roof with 2 windmills that should cover everything you need inside the base. That was the base tier, boys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and move on to the costs of the base. First of all, on screen is the total build cost, which includes everything that you saw on the tour. Second up is the box amounts, just breaks it down, easier to realize exactly how many boxes of each material you'll need to build the base. And lastly is the total upkeep that will be spread between 3 TCs. Of course, our main TC acquiring the majority of that upkeep. That's what the base costs. That's what the base looks like. Let's get on to how to build it. Alright, so we're throwing down the starter footprint just now, and we're going to be operating out of these 2 triangles and 2 squares. Honeycombing off that middle triangle there, we're not going to use that. We'll slap our TC in the right hand side square once we got these roofs on. Not trying to let me place this, cool, alright, sold. Right, so TC's going in the right hand side square. It's kind of a weird starter, but you can build the large version, assuming that you have the materials available to do that. So yeah, TC in, making sure that we lock it. Don't forget to do that, guys. Come on. And some doors on. Of course, you will have garages straight away, but I'm just showing you what goes in where. And your most outer doors should never be garage doors, so get some double doors on there. And we're going to pull through a half floor so we can get our shelves for our TC room and our main loot room. We're ramping off these loot rooms for honeycomb purposes, and it looks cooler, so do that. And you can break that bit at the back. Alright, so this is the smallest iteration of the starter base, and this is what it costs to build it down on the bottom of the screen there. That's what you need to have with you before you slap down the base. Let's now expand the footprint into our baguette shape. That's where the Booget gets its name, because this is a baguette footprint. Squares coming off of all of our triangles like this, and that's the shape that we're looking for. So we'll have 4 loot rooms in our starter base, and then the other 2 are part of the airlock. Or the other 4 squares off to the side are part of our airlock. Single door, placing it away from TC, each one far away from TC like that, keeping the base symmetrical by 2, and a wall down the middle to divide everything. Then we can get our frames in. You can place all the frames in if you want, or if you're trying to save on garage doors, those are the necessary door spots that I just placed down there. And now we can get our doors in there too. Looking good, and we'll build a couple more loot rooms off to the side here and get our half wall pulled through as well. You can leave the foundation, that is part of the base. Just break your half wall, build up once you're done with that. Again, we're using ramps in our loot rooms. The bottom one first before the top, that's the order that you need to do it in, because ramps are kind of weird. Boom, and then we'll break that little build up that we did before. Alright, little bird's eye view of the base, and let's get back to building. Ceiling on top of all of this. No jump ups in this central point here. And that's the big boy starter version. Maybe you could put that all down at once depending how much mats you've gathered. Maybe you're on a 2x or something like that. It could be more possible. Looking pretty safe now though. Plenty of doors in there and plenty of loot space and room to move around for whatever size your group is. Come to the front where your single doors and we'll start expanding. Close on the right hand side of the single door is our jump up to the next floor. And that'll get a garage door so you can obviously use the jump up. Then a wall and a door frame. In this spare triangle here I like to throw down some furnaces. They're not taking up any space in the starter and they're not too close to the front door either. So a nice spot for those. And some doors to separate in between as well. Okay, we can go ahead and build what we just built on the opposite side as well. Don't forget to get some doors on there as well, and we'll go around the opposite side and replicate what we just built. So jump up on the right. On the left is our furnaces, and in the middle is the way through to our main airlock. Boom. Get those frames in, get the doors on, and sealing it off, leaving out our jump up of course. And boom. We'll get some airlocks on top of the roof so you can actually use these without getting deeped on. One of them built, and make sure you're facing the door where I do, away from your loot rooms of course. Just how I'm doing it. And sorted, looking good. Next we can bring out our main airlock and expand it out a little bit further. And we'll throw down the foundations for the rest of the base so you know the main foundations, all of them that are going to be placed. We're honeycombing the squares, we're leaving the triangles off, and then we have 3 triangles in front for our airlocks. Let's get some externals down in order to secure the build spot and ensure we do not get griefed early on into wipe. We are wide gapping with a 3 square method, so I just built out with 3 squares. Now I'm building back with triangles, and I'm going to use those triangles to create a little shape around the front of the base. You can see we have our wide gaps down. These foundations are not connected. They will need the frames in order to not decay. We'll go ahead and connect them to an external TC first, but make sure you get some frames on there if you're worrying about decay. That's the reason why. So yeah, they need these frames here in order to actually be connected to each other. Same with these 2 triangles that we're looking at now, also going to need these frames to connect them. There we go, and let's connect everything we build to an external TC. We're building out with 4 squares, doing the mini Satori disconnectable, and then we can slap down a triangle where our TC will sit. Only thing not to forget about this external is the double half wall. That's essential for lack of stability, so don't forget about that. And then you can place your TC inside. And I'd recommend doing single doors so that your teammates always have access to these externals. Maybe they're going to leech and they might not have access later on if you slap a window on there. So do a combination of doors, whether that's garage, single, whatever is available at the time. You want your externals to be decently strong, as they do benefit the raid cost of course. Often I'm lazy and I leave them stone with 1 single door though. This is how I build my little connection. That was a half wall with low walls on top, just to be clear. And then we'll connect back with frames. The first one we place is a floor though, to stop people from jumping in the compound and allowing us to place a barricade. Boom, that's the peak. And a turret can go in front of that furnace. And guess what, we're building that on the opposite side. I'm going to show you guys again because wide gaps can be confusing if you've not done them that many times. I'm sure you guys don't all have the same amount of hours as I do on a build server, so we're making sure you know what we're doing. 3 square method, let's build back with triangles, and then let's again create the shape in front of our base like this. These foundations are not touching, they do not count as a connection. Let's give them frames like that. Boom, up and grading all these frames and connecting what we've made to an external TC now. We have our compound separator here that we're building. Connect that part too, they don't count as touching either. And then we can build our external TC, going out 4 squares. We're remembering to do a double half wall, don't forget about that. And we'll slap in the TC. And I'm just going to do 2 single doors because that's usually what I do. I'm messing up here though because I'm shit at building apparently. Boom. I mean, you could do a window if you want, but it's bad for the leeches. They won't get access to TC, so don't do a window. Alright, boom. Break all that twig. We don't need it. We're going to connect with frames. Let's do our compound separator first of all, though. There we go. And floor and frames. And they join up nice and easy. And I showed in the tutorial how to disconnect and reconnect these externals. Alright, boom. Build spot has been secured. We're not going to get griefed. Let's work on the airlock a little bit more. Just double doors all the way through and a jump up with our windows on the left and right. And I don't have B grade on, so I'm putting that back on. We'll slap B grade back on, and okay. Alright, so we're building another airlock, and that's how it goes. Show you guys know what you're doing. Now we can start working on the second floor open core. It's going to be a while until you'll be able to seal this up, so make sure you have a good amount of mats before you start building this. We're adding in some full walls on the back and then half walls in the front so that we can have 3 levels of loot. We're going to add a level of half walls with ceilings on top, and we're upgrading that one in the middle because we won't have access to it anymore. Everything upgrade to metal is something that needs to be upgraded before you seal it over. Single door window, we have our jump up and our ankle biter. Just like that, looking pretty good. That's our thing. And a little bit of honeycombing. It's hard to access these walls with the loot rooms, so we'll upgrade them before we add in this third wall. And then we'll surround the second floor here. And we'll do the exact same thing on this end of the base. Okay, and that's what it's looking like from above. Add in some doors in this area, and here we're going to have a peek up into our loot room that goes above, allowing us to cover any blind spots that the peek downs cannot see. Cover that over, and exact same thing again over here. And again covering it over. Little demonstration of what we've got going on. Peek ups, ankle biters, all that stuff that the base offers. Alright, let's start getting on to the loot room section. We're going to have 2 double doors in front, and these will need to be garage doors, preferably for accessing boxes. We're going to go around again with another layer of full walls, and then we can add in some floors at the height of the frame, leaving a half height space above, just like that. And same over here. Frames above frames and wall above window. That's how I'm doing it there. Just like that, looking cool. On the right hand side we can add in a window. This is part of our peek up onto the defense floor, and it's where we're going to store our beds. Then we can add frames along here. And same as over here. Then a ceiling over the center. And once we place in our ramp and a couple of doors, we'll actually be safe inside of our open core. And we'll be able to work on the box placement inside without anyone being able to bother us. So doors are on there, solid. Let's do some box placement now that we're secure. Little bird's eye view of the base so far. Make sure you place in your door for your peek up as well, so you're definitely secure. Alright, box placement. We are looking for 5 on the bottom, 5 in the middle, and 5 on the top. Start with the center box, and then it's easy enough to place 2 on either side. As long as you start with the center one, then you should have no issues. And all these boxes are replaceable even after the triangle shelves are down. it's just going to be a little bit harder. That's all. So 5 boxes on the bottom. Again, this is where the skins are going to come in handy. Make sure you're not doing this with plain boxes. It's not going to look anywhere near as cool. And then you can cheekily get a nice half wall in there, just the method that I used. And we'll get another 5 boxes on the top there, placing in our middle one first, and then 2 on the left and 2 on the right. There we go. And I'm just going to show this on one of the loot rooms, and then the rest of the deployable placement inside the base is self-explanatory from inside the tour, so you won't be getting a demonstration on that, unfortunately. 3rd row now. Again, first one's going in the middle, and 2 are going on the left, and 2 are going on the right. You might need to place a box to stand on here, but I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to fly to place this second one. Yeah, you're going to need some help with this one. Just stand on a box or something, unless you can fly on the server you're playing on. Maybe you're an admin. And boom, loot room's done. We're not building that one, sorry. Just do the same thing and fill in your boxes. Don't forget about this spot under here. More spots for boxes. And starting to look pretty good, the base so far now. I like it, it's looking cool. Our next mission is to get these mobility chutes up to the top so that we can take control of our roof with ease. 2 ways up and down to this section. And it's also going to honeycomb our loot rooms as well, in case you decide to upgrade those early on. Remember, we've got spot for a battery right here. It's not the safest spot, but if you're running low on ideas for battery spots, stick one in there. Then we actually go around with a little bit of a half wall section here. That's part to do with the shooting floor. Just make sure you follow along. It is important, that's how we got to do it. And the triangle's going to go, the triangle ladder hatch will go on your 2nd frame up. So it's a little bit of a half jump to get into your ladder hatch. Don't forget about this spot here that allows placement for the turret. Very important, don't forget about it. Make sure you leave it open underneath your window. And we'll throw in a ladder hatch. Let me grab one here. And you can see I'm placing it on the higher up section. And yeah, we've got another one of those to build on the opposite side. Exact same thing again. Just building the same thing that we've already done, not much to say on that part. Get your turret down and then let's get moving. Alright, so outside of our open core we have a space for extra loot room, workbench and some spots to respawn. And we'll go ahead and build those now. Upgrading this because we won't really have much access to it later on. Space for our loot room here, you can get those boxes down as soon as you want. And that's actually our jump up to the next floor on the opposite side of the boxes, so we'll build that too. And then we have door frames to separate and the open square for bags and a workbench. And the base is symmetrical, so let's do that again on the opposite side. Looking good. Terrific. Get that loot room built, get that wall upgraded. Alright. That's our little window peak that we used to peek up. Okay, let's get some more wide gaps down because we're nearly ready to build the shooting floor. Once again, we're doing 3 square method. And we're building back with triangles again. Then just follow the build out that I do, create the shape that I make, and you're good to go. Just going to redo it a little bit slower for you guys, just to make sure you saw that. And then you can upgrade your foundations and break the ones we don't need. Again, we're connecting these with frames because they do not count as touching. And we'll need to connect them all in the center as well. Right over here, we're going to add in frames and a low wall to connect everything together. And then there's space to hide some boxes behind this low wall inside the compound for easy depot. And now let's connect our Widegapped to a gatehouse. The gatehouse will eventually be connected back to main base, so we're not doing an external here. Single doors on that, windows to look out, windows to look in, and we're upgrading everything to stone. Another frame in there to connect everything. Looking good. Let's connect our gatehouse back to the main base. Don't need those low walls just yet. They're for later on. You can place them now if you want though, it's not a big deal. And we're connecting it like that. Square first and then 2 frames. And then get your embrasures and your single doors in there. And let's go ahead and repeat that on the opposite side of the base. Just doing the exact same thing again, not much for me to say, so I'll just leave you guys with the video. Alright, let's move on how to get some barricades on top of here because it's kind of confusing. Get those low walls in for stability and it stops people from laddering through. And then just place your barricades on how I do. You need the middle legs over the middle line and they will stay floating. I'll show you guys again. Middle legs on that middle line there and then they'll stay up. And there you go. Now we can move back onto the top of the base. Let's get our exits out to shooting floor over here. And then it's not just as simple as walls all the way around, so make sure you look closely and follow. On the left of our exit we'll do a window so we can add some vending machines. And then on this side we can do a roof peak up. Then we can add in a spot for a battery. And getting our doors and our walls to separate up. And a half-height wall for the loot room. Again, getting your windows in there. And walling in our jump up. Just doing the same as we did on the opposite side. And then we can add in a window in the middle with some door frames surrounding the same as the starter. Just like that. And we'll finish off the bedrooms as well with a half wall and some frames. And I'll just show you guys how to get a half-height triangle in here to allow you to place some boxes so we can grab some kits when we first spawn in. Just like that, pull a half wall through and then place your triangle off the other triangle. And there we go. Let's move on to the shooting floor now. We're going to do a bit of honeycombing that allows us to build the shooting floor. Upgrade these back walls, it's easier from the outside than inside. And I have symmetry on for this right now, so we're going to add in some honeycombing as well in front of the walls we just upgraded. Everything else does need to be upgraded at some point. These are just things that can't be accessed right now, so make sure you do it before the honeycombing. Then we're honeycombing up with the symmetry on. Easy peasy on that side. And then beside our airlock, we're going to add in a couple more triangles, and we're doing mainly frames on them, and we're going to honeycomb right at the top, just where that starts to get important, and we can honeycomb those walls. So don't do 3 levels, just do 2 frames and then walls on top of that. There you go. And that's all we need. Let's now raise up the Widegapped frames and we can build our shooting floor from there. Just raising up all our frames, super basic, there's no breach peaks or anything, so it's as simple as just building frames to the right height. There we go. All the frames are down, let's get our floors down for shooting floor now. I will do that without flying so you guys can see the right angle to get everything placed in. And once the floors are down, we can add in windows all the way around the perimeter of the base. Then we can finish up our roof airlock, a couple of doors to allow us to peek out, and we'll do the same over here as well. Window in the middle, 2 doors. And we'll get in some necessary frames that go around the shooting floor as well. Replicating them on the opposite side. And then we can finish our roof airlock. Rotate this window, it doesn't really matter though because it can't be soft-sided. And we've got a spot for a turret here and some drop boxes above the door. Then we can finish off our peak-ups and slap in the turret spot as well. Same again over here. Turret in there. And half wall off our peak-up. And then we're actually going to add in a quick frame as well. Just makes the angle a little bit better for you and a little bit worse for raiders above you. Then we can add in the floors for the shooting floor. Just leaving in our gaps as the same as below. Okay, and this base is really starting to come together now. All we have to do is add in some roof tiles that go all the way around, and then we need a spot for a couple of windmills. It's just square roof ramps that go all the way around the inside of the roof. And this one, make sure you place off the wide gaps so we can get that frame. That's the only place this can really go wrong. Then place in the rest of your roof ramps all the way around. Again, leave space for that frame. That frame there. And you can also get roof ramps above the turret pods and above the roof peak-ups. And there we go. Finally, let's get those windmill towers looking a little bit taller and get some windmills on top of them. Placing in our windmills, and then we can there we go. And boom. That is the base design finished, you guys. Hopefully you were able to follow along easy enough. Also, hopefully you guys did enjoy this base. If you did, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. Remember, we have a Discord down below that you guys can join if you need any help from me or some other expert builders. We've been doing some base reviews inside the Discord too that I've been live streaming on Twitch, so if you want to get my opinion on your base, make sure you join up the Discord. Check out the Twitch submissions channel. Got a lot of exciting things coming up, guys, so stay tuned and see you in a bit.